Blah. Why won't it let me change things?
I'm gonna try this. Hang on.
Oh wait, it's recording. I got it.
Oh, I hit something different at the same time. So good. Well, as long as we're recording, that's.
So maybe that's what did it. I'm not sure. All I know is it says up in the upper corner recording. So I think we're good.
All right. Well, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to jump into this. So welcome everybody to week 6. I always, it seems like I'm always talking about the passage of time right now, and it's either in relation to how fast the summer's going by or how old my kids are or how old I am or whatever it is. But for tonight, we'll talk about how fast these 6 weeks have gone. It's really amazing that we've covered all of this in 6 weeks, and just really excited and proud of you guys for hanging in there and being part of all of it each week and getting homework in, and everybody's busy. So I appreciate that, and I know Karen and Christine do as well, and we just hope that you have gotten a lot out of this, and we're going to kind of do a quick review like we've done the other weeks, and just to go over what it is, and I know it seems redundant, but I think it's good to kind of take a look at the kinds of things that we've covered and the kinds of skills that you've been working on, because that's what we're really going to focus on tonight as we get closer to the end is, you know, what do we do with all these skills that we have now, and how do we take those skills and partner that with our will and put those all together for success. So that's what the plan is tonight, but let's just look at this briefly and see what it is that we've learned about the importance of product knowledge as it relates to sales and to bookings, so important. We've learned about our belief and just believing that we can do it. And it's all about that self-talk. Are you telling yourself you can, or are you telling yourself you can't? And it's really will make a difference in your results. We've learned how to talk to people out and about, as well as what are we saying at our shows? What are the words that we're saying to book our shows? Hopefully right at our shows. We've learned about our passion, and when that shines through, we can really make a difference in terms of what people are buying, whether people are booking shows, but it's about our message that we're giving to people through our passion. We've learned about host coaching and how critically important that is, because it's going to make a difference in terms of your sales and your bookings, and also those are your leads. That's going to keep your pipeline open, and full rather. So you want to make sure that you're doing an incredible job of host coaching. So we've just talked about and how that makes a difference at every show. And there's so many skills that are just the basic foundation of this. And so we'll take a look at those again in a few minutes. But you've learned that recruiting is just a conversation. It's just a question. It's an invitation. It's a conversation. It doesn't have to be big and heavy and ominous. It can be just about trying to find out if what we have to offer can fill a need for somebody at your show or somebody that you've met out in the grocery store or wherever you are. And that host coaching is where you're going to really earn your paycheck. That's the work that goes into earning your paycheck, and the party is where you're going to pick up your check and see what the results are for that work that you've done. What else? You've learned that that the fortune is in the follow-up. We've talked about that for absolutely ever. You can do all sorts of things, but if you're not following up, then you're really leaving money on the table and you're missing out on a lot of opportunities. So important quickly and effectively is so important. We've learned about building good customer relationships, and that's really what this business is about, whether we're talking about why people start the business, why people stay in the business, why people have a big team of people, why people have a big pool of customers and hosts. And it's all about relationships, different types of relationships, but when you boil it all down, that's really what it is. It's about good customer relationships. And part of that, and Karen was teaching us this last week. It's that 2-2-2. So follow up 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, and really stay connected in a way that lets people know that you really care about them, that you are appreciative of them being your customer and your host. We need to know the words, we've learned the words to say to customers, whether they're on the phone or in person. And if you've actually made calls this week, then you know that people are actually happy to hear from you. They are appreciative about the fact that you've taken a second to touch base with them and to see how they like their products and if they have questions, or if you're offering them recipes or whatever it might be. But it doesn't need to be a long drawn out thing. You don't have the time, they don't have the time, but boy, it goes a long way just to make that call quickly. So any questions about that in terms of the skills that we've done? So we were really talking about the customer care calls previously last week, and we were talking about what kinds of things are you doing on those calls? How are you doing them? Is it a text? Is it an email? Is it a phone call? And how prepared are you when you go to make those calls? Are you feeling confident and comfortable? Because that's going to come across to the person that you're connecting with. So did anybody make customer care calls this week?
I did. I made a couple of them. I actually brought out my list of the people that got added to my contacts from ordering online. Oh,
perfect. Perfect.
So I got a couple of them, and then they were happy to hear that I actually called. I mean,
Yep.
We didn't get as far as, because a lot of them couldn't talk, but we didn't get as far as trying to book a show yet, but I did let them know that I also mailed them a mini brochure.
Perfect. And sometimes it's a good idea, that first call, maybe just let it be about, I'm just touching base to say thank you for your order, thank you for being at the show, thank you for supporting your host, whatever that might be. Here are some recipes that might be great for that product you bought, and not necessarily connect that to a booking the first call out, so that maybe you wait until the 2-week one, where you can reconnect and then maybe mention the booking, especially if there's a great special that you think they might be particularly interested in based on the products they've purchased. But I think it helps them to relax a bit about your call and your contact if they don't necessarily think that part of that is going to be, will you book a show? It just lays a firmer foundation for you to build on from there. So I think sometimes it's better to maybe not. Anybody else who made calls this week that wants to share? Nobody? Okay. So today what we're going to do is discuss calendar management and personal discipline. And this really can be the big game changer for your business in terms of how you're going to be able to really proceed and to manage your business and book your shows, etc. So in the last 6 weeks, if you think about all those skills that we've been talking about, those are all parts of just being a great consultant. And whether you're a consultant, a team leader, a director, an advanced director, a national executive director, there are these basic skills that are the foundation of all of our businesses, because first and foremost, we're a consultant before we're anything else. And so all of these things that we've been talking about have helped us to become an awesome consultant. Here's the kicker though, if you don't put all of this together into a plan and actually put it into action, then you really haven't gotten very far. You've spent 6 weeks of, sharing time with us, and that's all great. But in terms of the return on the investment of your time and your effort, you're not going to see a lot. And I'm as guilty of that, and I'm sure Karen and Christine would agree to this. We've been to, I don't even know how many conferences and meetings and seminars and retreats and you name it. And we have volumes of notes and notebooks full of handouts and information, and it's all valuable stuff. But if you're not putting it into action, then it really isn't, it's not going to serve you well. And so that's what we want to talk about, is that, you know, some people, you know, they talk a lot about it, and they talk about all the stuff that they've learned, but then they don't, like we were just saying, they don't put it into action. So they haven't really pushed the envelope, pushed forward to get the results. Other people, though, they kind of walk through and they talk the talk, they walk the walk, and they get to where they want to be because they've set the goals and they're using all of this to help them get to their goal, which is really what we're hoping that all of you will do. So, ooh, there's the feedback.
It's me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to fix it.
Okay. So what we're going to do actually tonight is to kind of take a look at this self-assessment checklist. And what I love about it is the fact that it really is Chris, can you maybe just mute it for a minute?
I'm trying.
Okay. So what I love about this checklist is it really is going to give us specific things that we can check up on and do.
I'm gonna jump out.
Okay. Bye. Okay, good. All right, so what I was talking.
Sounded like a horror movie.
So what I love about this walking the talk checklist is that it's tangible things. It's, you know, I'm a checklist person anyway, whether I'm getting ready to go on a trip or whether I'm, you know, working towards something specific. I'm much better if I have the list in front of me and I can check things off as I go along. I laugh about it. Even if I do something that isn't on my list, I write it down so I can check it off. So it's a feeling of accomplishment and really feeling like you're getting somewhere. So let's talk about some of these things that are on this list. So do my hosts ever have to call and ask me for something? So that kind of falls under that host coaching category. And if they're having to call you to find out, then probably you haven't done a complete enough job of host coaching, because you want to be able to have given them all that information so they're not having to chase you down to figure it out. Am I punctual to my host home, team meetings, and trainings? You know, it's all about the message that you're giving out. And if you're late, whatever it is, I think especially to your host's home, it kind of gives the message that you feel like your time is more important than theirs. And that's not a good message. So, you know, you want to be at your show 30 to 45 minutes ahead. Getting there too early is equally not good. I've had some consultants over the years that, you know, wanted to get there an hour or more than an hour ahead. And hosts are busy. Some of them are coming home from work or whatever, getting their family settled. So they don't want to see you too early, but you just need to give yourself enough time to get in, get organized and settled in a way that gives you time to interact with your host and your guests as they're arriving. And then also leaving is important. Leaving is equally as important because they want to get on with their evening. And so being professional and just doing what you need to do and getting out is equally as important. Am I kind, courteous, quick to resolve issues, truthful and knowledgeable? You know, all those things. That's not rocket science. It's rocket science. If you're doing that, then people want to work with you. If you're not, then it makes it more difficult, and they'll find somebody else where they can feel more confident and more comfortable. Do my guests or hosts ever say to me, that was the funniest show I've ever been to? You're awesome at what you do. That's what we hope, right? We want them to have fun. We want them to feel like we did a great job. because if they do, then you're going to get bookings and they're going to refer you to other people. So always a good thing. Do I spend too much time on non-income producing activities? And there's 1,000 different activities that people have done over the years in terms of tracking where their time is invested and really taking a look at, are they spending the largest chunk of time on non-income producing or producing? So as they're saying in here, if you're doing a calendar, put your things that are personal in pink, put your business meetings in blue, your office work in orange, and your show dates in green, which is great because then at a glance you can tell where your time is being dispersed and your energy and whether you need to realign those things. Do I procrastinate about doing homework, making calls, returning calls and emails? I mean, I think procrastination is something that we all struggle with a bit. But again, if you really want to get someplace, then you've got to put that time aside and just jump in. Christine and I we did a retreat once called Eat That Frog, and it was all about procrastination, and it was all about eat the biggest frog first, the thing that you're dreading the most, hating the most. Do it first, get it over with, and then go on to the other things because you'll feel much better about it. Are my starting on time and no longer than an hour and 15 minutes? I know some people are even a lot less than that. They're have tweaked things so that they're spending, maybe 20 to 30 minutes on their demo. But basically, you don't want to be in there too long from the time that you get your show started to the time when, you're ready to take orders. Has got to be timely. People are busy, they're tired, and they want to be able to do that. And, that's, we were talking about, Chris, have you started to do the show, drawing a blank on it, where people you can just do the show number and people can check themselves out. What is the
Easy Party Checkout? Can
yes,
you hear me?
I'm sorry. Yes, Easy Party Checkout. Have
So
you done?
I'm sorry, I clicked something so I can't see myself on the screen anymore, so I thought you couldn't hear me. So sorry, I'm definitely messing things up. But yes, I've been using Easy Party Checkout. I was part of the beta program, and I'm using it now. And yeah, it's neat.
So you feel like it really does, it's a benefit to people?
I think that it depends on the crowd.
Okay.
And I'm looking to get some more training from some people that I was talking to at conference that are definitely rocking it big time and don't even hand out order forms anymore. And if the people don't have a smartphone, they're logging in on someone else's smartphone to do it. So once I get that, I'm happy to share the information that I get from them. But yeah, I mean, home office has the stats. They said that people that check out using the Easy Party Checkout are spending $20 more than the person using an order form. So,
and we talked a bit about that at our team meeting the other night. And the one thing I think, Lisa, you were pointing out was the fact that you lose that one-on-one with people.
But you don't because their order is not submitted and it's not completed. They actually can't even pick their guest special until they come see you.
Oh, okay.
So you have to have something that you've got there online so that when they come up to you and they say, yep, I submitted it, I'm done, you pull it up on, your iPad, your computer, your phone, whatever it is that you're using, and you can still go through full service checkout with them, which takes less time because you're not adding the order. All you have to do is add the special, and it actually, when they put in the payment, it only applies $1. So you have to go in and you have to apply the rest of the payment anyway. So you still have a chance to upsell and yeah, it's neat. Watch the training on the website.
Okay.
Right. It's good.
Cool. All right. Thank you. So starting on time is important. Are you fumbling around? Are you organized? Are you, passing along fun tips and that kind of thing? That's going to keep people engaged, and people who are engaged are going to buy more and they're going to have more fun. So that's definitely true. Do I really make 3 contact calls a day? I mean, we talk about it all the time and how important it is to do, but are we actually doing that? The out and about calls, the product flyers that we're handing out to people with our business cards, all of that does make a huge difference. I love this. This is so important, and I think it's a great way to take a look at who your shows are with. And if it's the same people over and over and over again, then you really need to think about how am I going to get into new business, because 50% of your business should come from new people, and part of that will happen when you're doing the 222 calls. Because that way you're going to get those new people that are hopefully going to book shows with you, and that's going to fuel your business with newer people. Because after a while, those same people that are constantly hearing from you are going to be tired of it, and they're going to want to say no thank you. And then where are you going to be if you haven't filled the pipeline? So definitely want to think about that. Personal
Just
appearance.
a quick aside with that. I'm sorry, Carol. I hate to interrupt. But one of the things that they mentioned at conference was that our market, our customer base is primarily repeat customers. And we are missing newbies. And that is something that they really, like at home office even, they're focusing on, and how do we get new people involved, because we can't survive with the same, like saying the 50. And it's funny because obviously this slide was made before national conference. But so, and anyway, so yeah, it is definitely something that we all need to be conscious of.
Right. And that's true really with any business where you're selling. You've got to be, we talk at all the, at Capital Region Living, we talk about that as well. You can't keep going back to the same people because you really have got to break into the new group. So really important. Personal appearance, I mean, that kind of goes without saying. Are you professional looking? Are you clean and put together? Is your hair falling in the food? There's nothing worse. So all of those things are obviously things that we're all aware of. And that goes for our products too. Just make sure that that when you take the stuff out of the dishwasher and you put it in your crate to go to your show, that it's actually really clean, because as those guests are mingling ahead of the show and are picking up your things to take a look at them, it's not going to be a good thing if they're not clean. So, and also, are they the current products? I know sometimes, I think this is especially true with people who are returning to Pampered Chef, possibly after they've done, they've been a consultant and they're coming back. Or for people that have just been huge customers over the years and have a lot, they sometimes, and then become a consultant, they sometimes want to use the older products that have been restyled and don't look like that or work that way anymore. And that's not a good thing. So, take a look at the products that you're really taking to your show and showing to your guests. They need to be current and in good shape. And can you be counted on? So if you tell somebody that you're going to get back to them with an answer in 24 hours, then you need to be sure that that's what you're doing. And I think we've talked about this before. You promise to send a recipe, and then we forget about it. Life happens. But we talked about it the other night at our meeting, how great it is that Pampered Chef is going to be sending recipes. They're going to start with a couple of the products first, but they're automatically going to be sending recipes to people who purchase particular products. So that's fantastic. Just another way that Pampered Chef is there to support us and to make it easier for us to do our job. So those are the 15 things on this checklist. So, my suggestion would be to really take a look at those and do that self-assessment and identify what are those things that you're doing that you feel you're doing well, and what are the things that you really need to focus on in terms of improvement, and where do you want to start? What are the top 3 that you want to jump in right away and make some changes with? Because I think it's a great way to really kind of dissect the business, if you will, for lack of a better term, to really get down to what you're doing and what you need to change. So that's what this is about, the self-evaluation. That's not easy. I mean, it's not, sometimes we kind of go day to day and we're more of in a maintenance mode rather than really taking a hard look at what we're doing and being able to put ourselves in a growth mode instead. And so that's what this is all about. So we've talked about all of these pillars: belief and passion and skill, and now we're up to the will part of it. And like I was saying before, I mean, we've learned so many skills along the way, but what are we gonna do with it? And as we if we've been able to get out and to help a particular person, maybe with a new tool that will make it more fun and easy to get another meal on the table with their family, or maybe we've gotten a group of women who just need to get out and have a break and to be able to spend some time together and share good food and conversation. Then that's part of our job. Have we shown our passion, and are we excited about what we want to do? And, in the morning when we have a show, are we saying, oh my gosh, it's great, I have a show tonight, I can't wait. That's all about doing our job. That's all as equally as important as those isolated skills that we've talked about. And so if you've done your homework through this, and if you've been part of these calls, whether they're the live calls or the replays, then you have all those skills. But what are you going to do with them? If you're ready now to take all of that and put your will and what you want, your goals and your enthusiasm and your passion and all of that together, then you can't help but succeed. You have all the pieces. And that's the exciting part of it, is that you have all the parts that you need to take your business to the next level, whatever that is. It's different for everybody. Not everybody has the same goals. Obviously, we talk about that all the time. But I think it's so important to realize that you can go from where you are to wherever it is you want to be with a combination of this skill and will. So, Karen and Christine and I have talked about this throughout the week. We can't make you do the work. We can't make you call your hosts. We can't make you follow up with potential recruits in a timely fashion. We can't book your parties or say get out all those tools at home and really work with them and create your own stories to share at your shows. We can't make you earn a trip or make you show up and be punctual and prompt. We can't make you share the opportunity with everybody, but you can make the difference for yourself. And we have all this great support in our groups and our teams with our directors, but if you aren't doing it for yourself, then nobody else can do that for you. It's got to be all about you and what you want. So and I think this is a perfect graphic. It's about, are you going to stay in your comfort zone where we all like to be? That's no surprise. We're all more comfortable doing what we've done and what we think we're good at and what feels comfortable. But that's not where progress and change and the magic happens. We have to get out of that spot and try new things, and take a chance, take a risk, because that's where your results are going to be, and that's where your new passion and excitement for your business is going to come from. You really can do it. You just have to believe it. And that goes back to what we were talking about. Belief in yourself, belief in the actions that you're taking, belief in the results that will come as a result of that. And it's not magical. It's just about those basic steps. I mean, it'd be great if we had a magic wand to make all that happen, but we do have all those things that can help us get the results we want. I love this. We've been part of this at some other retreats that we've done, but I think it's such a simple, concrete way to think about where you are and where you want to be. So what do I need to stop doing? What do I need to start doing? And what do I need to continue? And so, when you think about that, what comes to mind when you look at some of those 15 things that we've just talked about? What comes to mind in terms of what do I need to stop doing? Anybody want to share what jumped out in terms of that? something that you really want to be sure that you are stopping?
Well, I did stop, and that was to actually make calls, because I appear outgoing and stuff, but when it comes to making these calls, it's like there's always one excuse after another. Oh, it's too late, or it's dinner time. So
Yeah.
I made myself do it. So I stopped making the excuses.
Good for you, Tammy Lynn.
And that's such an important one. I mean, we've got excuses for everything. So that's
Yep.
awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Who else has something they want to stop?
I want to stop prejudging people, like they're not going to do it, or
Yep.
that kind of thing.
And that can apply to shows and recruiting, right? She's got a lot of money. I'm sure she'd never want to have a show. She doesn't care about free, et cetera. Or, she would never be interested in the business. She's this, that, or he, this, that, or the other thing. So prejudging is a biggie. Yeah, good, Char. Perfect. And I think one thing that I would hope that people stop doing if it's happening right now is stop listening to the negative stuff around you. So if you have people that are feeding you negative, then tune them out. Find a way to kind of put up the wall, because there are a lot of people out there that they may be saying to you, why are you selling Pampered Chef? Nobody wants Pampered Chef, this or that or the other thing. Or people, or our hosts that get excited, or guests who get excited about the opportunity at shows and then go home and have all the negative stuff being said to them. The hope is that you can put up that wall and just focus in on people who are there to support you and to get you where you want to be and celebrate with you when you get there. So what do you need to start? What jumps out at you in terms of what's one of the very first things you want to start?
Office hours.
Okay.
That's not all day. So it's like, oh, I can do that later.
Okay.
And later is later and later and later, and then.
And that's a big part, Charlene, of becoming intentional.
Yep.
Which is going to take you, up and above.
And I think, we've talked about the power hour for years, just, it doesn't have to be a 5-hour period of time. Start with an hour. You'll be amazed at if you're just focusing on your business for that time. It's amazing how much you can get done.
Yep.
And I think, setting a goal for yourself, I'm going to work in my office until I get, X, Y, and Z done. And then if you're finished, then great, walk out of your office. But if you haven't, then stay till you get those things accomplished. And to your point, you said you're there all day, you can do it later. I think what happens is when we work that way, we feel like we work all the time, but we're not accomplishing anything.
Yeah, you're just thinking about it all the time. You're not actually doing it.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's great. Perfect. Anybody else have something they want to start?
Crickets.
No, crickets. So here's one that I really want to start, and again goes back to something certainly not new, but making those 3 calls a day or 3 contacts a day. When we first started 321, I was doing it, and then work and family and all of that stuff got in the way, and so I'm not doing it consistently enough. So for me, I really wanted to start doing that again.
And I'm sure your business exploded, right?
Oh my gosh, like you're saying, it's about being intentional.
Yep.
And putting your mind to it. It's not like you don't know what you need to do. It's just about
Exactly.
to do it. Okay, and the last thing, what do you need to continue? So what do you feel like you really do well, and you want to make sure that you continue that? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. What is that for you?
For me, it's tracking. Like, I'm very intentional about my business. I have bills that need to be paid. I know how much I want to bring in every month, and I set goals and just track.
Yeah,
So
you are so good at that. And that's why you're earning trips and doing all those things too.
Karen, I would love to maybe at some point have you do a training on what it is that you track, how you track, and how you keep on top of that with a full-time job and kids.
I don't know. No, I mean, I just am intentional about trying to set up a certain number of shows each month, trying to anticipate how much that, would make for income wise. I know, the trips are a huge incentive for me and my family. So I just track that. I'm embarrassed to say I didn't even know about Excellence Awards until like last year. So now that I know about that too, I want to track that. Again, like you said, it's just being very intentional about your business, setting goals for yourself, and what is your why and what do you want out of this business? And if it's just to earn products, if it's just to earn the discount, like be intentional about what your why is and set goals to achieve it.
Perfect.
For everybody.
Yeah, that's very true.
Sorry.
Awesome. Okay, anybody else have anything they really feel they are very strong in and would like to continue?
Well, the one thing that I do, and I did allude to it earlier, is I do get orders periodically from it, but I do for all my past hosts and all of now that we get the new people that just order off the website, I every season mail them a mini catalog. Or if we get the summer flyers or whatever, but I think those are stopping, aren't they? Like, are we still going to get like the special flyers? Did I hear these?
I don't.
Or just
Well, the one.
No, but I don't think there was any mid-season release.
Yeah, they're usually just for the mid-season.
Just for the summer. Whatever releases come out, I mail them to all my past hosts and all the new customers on my website.
Nice.
Amazing. Good for you.
So I keep that up.
So there's
Mail
no question sorry. Go ahead, Kristen.
Tammy Lynn, I'm sorry, mail or email?
No, I mail.
Okay. Nice.
I buy the mini brochure packages, and I buy my 49-cent stamps. I print out my labels, and out they go.
Do you follow up then and call those people that you mailed?
I have, yes. And that's actually kind of what I'm doing now because I've mailed them out. Like when I made the calls the other night, I said, I've just recently mailed you a new brochure with the upcoming season.
Exactly.
So.
Yep.
Right.
Because I feel like that's the key. If you're going to spend the time and the money to send those out, that you then need to schedule a couple of hours to then call and follow up with every one of those people that you sent those things out to.
Which brings us back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the call, the fortunes in the follow-up.
Absolutely.
That's where your money's going to and Tammy, also, there's no question in their mind then if they need Pampered Chef, who they're going to call because you've made those connections.
They have something in front of them every 6 months.
Right.
Yep.
So that's awesome. Perfect. So any questions about things that we covered tonight? Anything in particular that you have a question about? So there is just one last assignment, and again, thank you to everybody that has submitted them. It's awesome, and hopefully you've gained a lot by doing that. But we want you to just kind of take a minute to evaluate that list of 15 things that we've just talked about, and make a list of the ones that you want to commit to changing. The video this week is Michael Reeves' video, and it's his top 20 business tips. And I listened to it a couple of times and wrote them all down, and he does them from 20 to 1. And I'm telling you, they're amazing. They're amazing. Some of them you'll be like, oh my gosh, I would never do that. But before you get too far in terms of saying you never would, think about it. And maybe think about how you can tweak it to be something that you're comfortable with. But I mean, he's a no-nonsense kind of guy who's got this business down to really tangible things. And this is a person that went inactive 9 times.
That's
So
crazy.
he lost his career sales 9 times. And then he's now one of the top salespeople in the company. And what made him get there? It's because he never gave up. He persevered. He changed what he was doing. He surrounded
That's
himself.
top achievers.
Yeah, he surrounded himself by people who were successful, and he's applied it all. So it's not that long. It's I don't even know. I think it's 20 minutes.
I don't even, yeah. So, yep.
It's 20 minutes. And so take that time to just go through that. And once you look at those 20, choose 5 of those that you think, wow, I never thought about that, but those are awesome ideas. And I would love to try those. Because I guarantee you there are things that he's doing that you could easily implement that would make a difference for you. So just a quick reminder, are you going to stay where you are in your comfort zone? Or are you going to venture out of that and really get into where things are going to change, and you're really going to make things happen and make the magic for yourself, and whatever that is. So lastly, and on behalf of Christine and Karen, we just want to really thank you for being part of this, and for the follow-up and all the participation. It's really been fantastic for us to have all of you aboard. We would like to think about running this again in the fall, but what we'd really love is some feedback from you, because you've been part of it, and so your reaction and your thoughts about it are really valuable, and we would really appreciate it if you would take a minute to get back to your director with your feedback, and ways that if you feel there are things that we could change or make different, or things you really loved. We want to put this out to people again and have more people take advantage of it. So whatever you can do to help us spread the word about it based on your experience, that would be fantastic. So,
and Carol, when I get back in town Thursday or Friday, I'm going to post a post 6-week call, or 6 weeks to success survey for you guys to fill out. Tomorrow morning, you'll have the one to evaluate tonight's call and the different homework assignments and et cetera. So later in the week, you'll have one to do based on the overall series. And, since it is the first time that we're running it, your feedback is really important, and also your testimonials. So we would really hope that you will take the time to fill that out.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Any last minute thoughts or questions?
No, just thank you guys for doing this. I mean, we may be crickets when you're asking, but we are we are learning.
That's good. That's all we can ask for sure. Thanks, Shar.
Exactly.
All right. Good night, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Good night.
Good night.